ladies and gentlemen, are we ready to proceed? I think we got the Season 3 Championship pre-show to get started with. We've had the awards ceremony with Jags. He's off with the team, getting the Zaun Plague ready to take the Rift. I've got Mr. Chugga himself and Mr. Bassoon with me. Are you ready, boys?
We're ready!
I'm so ready.
Let's get into it. Let's get that finals hype going. We've had a quiet moment. Everybody got their snacks. Get your water. We're about to get ready, or get rolling now. You guys have anything you how do you feel? We're on finals night. It's season 3. It's been a great one. I hope everybody agrees. Scratch that. I know they agree. We're here for the finals. How are we feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Leading into this with like the award show too, such a good way to just have us all hyped, and now we're ready to just rip each other apart. I'm so excited for these matches.
Rip each other apart is right. We've got the Zaun Plague versus the Targon Titans tonight. And let's get into it. Our name sponsor for the evening, we'll just go over them again. We have Oasis Gaming, Get Away from the Toxicity, and Game at the Oasis. Go Homes.
Go Homes.
That's right. And capture an instant for eternity with Lilac Lion Photography. Schedule your limited fall sessions today. And finally, brought to you by Dr. Pepper, established out of Waco, Texas in 1885. 23 perfect flavors combined to bring you the ideal soda. Crack open a cold one tonight.
Let us see those logos real quick, Jason. I don't think it's showing up on stream.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't transition, but it's fine. We saw them earlier. We don't need to show the logos again, but this is the road we've taken to get here. You guys have been here for the whole ride. You've been watching the games as we get through here. It's been an exciting playoffs. Every round, best of fives, and we've had them go the distance on some occasions. On sometimes it's looked a little more one-sided. Take me through some of these matches. Tell me some of the highlights that you've seen so far, and what we're looking for tonight out of Targon and Zap.
I mean, I'm hopelessly biased, but you know, we had our one best of 5 game 5 silver scrapes in the quarterfinals with Demacian Justice versus FF. You know, the dream so close for that reverse sweep, but not quite there. And then we saw Demacian Justice kind of, you know, the people's champions, team friendship, immediately catch smallpox and fall to the plague for them to move into the grand finals. And then on the opposite side, we had 2 pretty solid series where in both times Targon would drop their first game, but then they would rally, come back strong, and they've earned their spot in the grand finals as well.
Yep, it's been quite the road. We saw Targon in the regular season 5-5, and Zaun Plague in the regular season 9-1. We've got a Juggernaut versus Juggernaut matchup. Targon proved that they deserved this place. They started in the quarterfinals. They're our first quarterfinalists to ever make it to grand finals here in season 3. And it's going to be a stacked one tonight. I hope everybody's watching. And let's dig into some of these matchups. We've got grand finals on the docket. Targon versus Zaun Plague. And shout out to Mr. Mad Apex himself. I've pulled his AI imagery here for this splash screen. And as I mentioned before, Targon Titans 5-5 throughout the regular season. Zaun Plague 9-1 with a dominating performance, getting their bye placement. And Titans having to fight through the Noxian Gladiators in order to get here today. And we're going to see that reflected in the stats slightly since the Targon Titans have more games played overall. And they've had some of their best performances when it really counted here in the playoffs. Zaun Plague carrying a strong performance throughout and cleaning up their series with a 3-0 in the semifinals. Boo, AI, boo. Thanks, Milk Chugga. Really getting the support from here on the stream tonight. And with that, we're going to get into the rundown. Targon Titans, Choffles in the top side. Our first team LCC All-Pro tonight. Aztec in the jungle, another All-Pro member. We have Minty in the mid lane. We have Crispy, our rookie of the split, and Reganin in support. And bringing us the Zaun Plague for the evening, we have Orcas in the top lane, another first team All-Pro member. Whisper bringing up the jungle for first team All-Pro. Spike, second team All-Pro for the Zaun Plague in the star-studded roster. and then 2 more first teams for our Sexy and Jags. Big shout out to Zaun Plague. They've had a great season, and Targon are here to ruin it. And with that, let's get into these matchups. We've got the top lane face-off stats here. I'm going to throw it to you, Bassoon. Give us the highlights. We've got the 2024 LCC first team, 2025 LCC first team. Everybody agrees Chaffles is the top laner to watch, but Orca's 2025 LCC second team is coming for the throne.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we're looking at these lines, we see 2 almost masters of the top lane. I think we've seen amazing performances out of both of them. You see both of their kill death ratios almost identical, only 200ths apart from each other. Similar story with their damage per minute. And I think where we see the difference coming through is, where they put priority. Where we see Orcus has very often been a player who stays on his island and pulls pressure towards him. And pulls for those tier 1 turrets, tries to get the enemy team to come to him, deal with him. Where Chaffles, you see his farm numbers aren't as high, and that's often because he is the person who goes to the other team. He's going to take the fight to the enemy. He's going to take any lead he's gotten and use it to try and get his team ahead. And I think the other thing that we'll see as we start moving into the champion picks is a lot of what makes Chaffles the LCC first team is just as much his pressure his lane as it is his pressure in the draft. So many of the champions that Chaffles is known for have pulled consistent bans. I think probably the most notable one this season has been his Shen, which has been either picked or banned in every single game that has been played against Targon Titans. And so that is a lot of what's earned Chaffles that first spot. It's not just his pressure on the map, but his pressure in the draft beforehand.
Yeah, and Mr. Chugga, do you want to give us take a look at the champion pools as we get into those? We've got Chaffles and Orcas with a wide variety of champions. Chaffles has had more opportunities to pull out champions as he's played more games this season. Orcas 9-1 throughout the regular season, and then only 3 games throughout the playoffs, as opposed to Chaffles, who had to fight through quarterfinals. So what are some highlights here? We mentioned Shen being one of them, and I can go back to the statistics if you'd like to take a look. But I think
this Cho'Gath as well is going to be an important pick for the evening. Mm-hmm. I think it's a contested pick that's and just throughout playoffs has been a popular one. So I think there's going to be a lot of either priority on it. We're going to have to see some nice counter picks come out. But this is the matchup I'm probably most excited for, is this top lane matchup, because I think Orcus had a really nice showing against DMJ, but Chaffles always has been the tried and true top laner of the LCC. So I really want to see these two go at it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Cho'Gath is going to be a hotly contested pick in this one. Shen, as always. I think the Galio showing last week, or sorry, 2 weeks ago at this point, was a bit out of left field, but he looked very comfortable on it. He said, take away my main global, I'll just get a second one, and I'm going to run around the map the whole time. Set is another interesting one to watch out for here. We've got it as a potential answer into Cho'Gath. You just grab that big void monster and throw him into his own backline. Trundle, I could see being a big one here for Orcas, as well as the Alawi.
Yeah, and lastly, I want to give a highlight to that Poppy, because not only is it a pick that's shared by these two players, we also saw our very own LCC first team support, Jags, pull it out on support. And so I feel like that pick could be even more hotly contested, as it's been run in multiple roles between these teams.
Yeah, Shen also picked up by Zaun Plague in the jungle for their semifinal series, and picking up a win on that one for Whisper. And speaking of Whisper, let's take a look at the jungler stats. We've got Aztec here for the Targon Titans, and Whisper, your 2024 LCC second team jungler, and the 2025 LCC first team jungler, so making a name for himself this season. And Mr. Chugga, why don't you take a first stab at the stats this time?
Yeah, so, the KDA is fairly close to Whisper's, a little bit ahead. Damage per minute, back the other way toward Aztec. Aztec's got him on CS and CST at 14, but they're all pretty close, right? Whisper does have those 3 first bloods. He's looking for those plays. Aztec with his own. It's going to be which one of these two can make an impact, right? Can they go top and make an impact? How are they going to impact the bot lanes? I think we're going to see these two all over the map today, and I'm excited to see some of the picks that they pull out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think where we see the differences in those stats also aligns with the type of players that they are. Where both of these players are very much willing to step into that carry role, but I feel like Aztec more so takes on that mantle, and that reflects both in his CSing, CS per minute and his CS difference, as well as his damage per minute, where he's going to take a bit more time to come online. He's going to be a bit more greedy with some of that farm, maybe some of those kills, but he is going to translate that into damage for his team. He is going to translate that into violence and victory.
Yep, and I think one thing to call out here is that Whisper, being on a team that was 9-1, they've only had to play 3 games in the playoffs. These stat lines are reflective of that. When you are the jungler of your team that's winning, it's a lot easier to get that extra CS. But I do think it's clear that he's improved since last season. The stat line is clean, and I would characterize Aztec as a hard farming jungler, especially compared to Whisper, who prefers to try to look for some ganks for his team and just get the farm as a secondary objective. He's really cleaned up his pathing, and I'm very excited to see this jungle matchup. It's going to be where we're watching in a lot of the early games, see where these teams decide to take those jungles. And with that, let's get into the jungle picks. Bassoon, give us your thoughts on this. We don't have any shared picks between these junglers, which is kind of surprising at this point in the season. Only 5 picks for Whisper. He did miss the first 3 games of the season. I believe it was the first 3, yes. And so 10 games overall, 5 champions.
Absolutely. And I think you said it best with that, as seeing as our main difference, where Whisper does have fewer total games, but we have seen him played some of his tried and true. I think the big one I want to shout out for Whisper personally is that Volley Bear pick. He has picked it 5 times on Zap, and I believe one of those picks might have gone to Inku, so I believe 4 times for Whisper, and all 4 times he has won with that champion. Be scared of the bear. Definitely a comfort pick for him. On the side of Aztec, he's one of our only 2 pentakills of all the LCC on that Pantheon. Very much a comfort pick for him. I believe in Season 1, he's also part of the reason behind his name. But then also his comfort pick on the Skarner, something he showed us a lot in Season 2, is having a lot of comfort with. Even though the patch hasn't been so kind to it in Season 3, still definitely a champion he loves to pick up and play.
Yeah, Mr. Chugga, any thoughts?
No, I agree with that. I think you're right. Fear the Volley Bear, I think against DMJ, it was banned almost every game. And then you're right. The Skarner pick, the patches have not been great for it, but he pulled it out last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago, and showed why it's still powerful in his hands. So.
Yep, I'm definitely going to be keeping a close eye on the pathing from these junglers. It's going to be intense when we get down to these objectives. Aztec has shown that he knows how to time these objectives, get there, and make sure that he is securing the area for his team. I think Whisper is going to be looking to rotate around with Jags and his mid laner Spike and try to set up the same thing. And we're going to see some clashes around these objectives. Everybody keep your eyes open for those timers. These teams are bloodthirsty for them. And with that, I mentioned Spike. Let's get into the mid lane where we have Minty Bun facing off against Spike, our 2025 LCC second team mid laner. Mr. Bassoon, give us your thoughts.
Absolutely. I think this is a similar one where we're seeing a player who is very much tied towards his team and team fights versus a player who is very good at absorbing farm, getting big, and then showing up to those fights and providing a lot of value. Where we're seeing that with the difference with that KDA line, where Minty shows up in the fights, provides a lot of cleanup for his team. You see the 4 first bloods looking for that early violence, but we see on the CS numbers not quite matching up to Spike in the same way. Now, both of them are down in CSD at 14, but Minty a little bit more so, where we see Spike, although he has a little bit lower of a KDA, look at that damage per minute, 805. That is one of the highest in the league last time I looked at the stats. And absolutely something where he shows up team fights, brings a crap load of damage, and absolutely spreads that plague everywhere he touches.
Well put. He does bring the plague wherever he goes. Mr. Chugga, what do you think about Minty with the 4 first bloods? Spike's sitting at 0, but I think it's really where Minty shines. Is it coming from a place of perhaps coordinating better with Aztec?
Yeah, I was going to say, almost definitely where it's coming from, right? I have to go back and look. I don't really see Minty getting a lot of solo kills, at least like early in the game. So yeah, I think it's just him and Aztec being on the same page and like really finding those spots to make some plays happen. And I think they're gonna be looking to do that tonight as well.
Yep, I think both of these mid laners have found their place really well in these teams. Minty fitting more of a scaling role, playing that just going to catch farm and then rotate out to assist his team rather than try to build an empire within his lane. And Spike starting out the season with some really vulnerable mid laners, and then I would say getting away with it on the Varus pick in the mid lane. And then, but 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago now, we're getting a little bit away from it. Or yeah, it was just 2 weeks. Spike on the melee mid laners finally coming out. It took him all season to bring them back out after the rookie showcase, and I'm very curious to see how that's going to shake up draft tonight for the Zaun Plague and what Targon decides to ban. And speaking of bans, let's take a look at the mid lane shared champion pool. Bassoon, what are the highlights?
I think the first thing I want to point out as this transition is over is that Syndra shared pick. Syndra is one of the most pick banned champions in the LCC as a whole. As I look at the number now, that she is number 1 with 12 picks and 18 bans across all of the LCC. So incredibly popular in the LCC as a whole, and incredibly popular for both these mid laners. Picked twice by Zaun Plague, banned 8 times into them, and picked 3 times by the Titans and banned once into them. I feel like that's a champ that we're going to see a lot of interest over, of how much importance we put on it. I feel like the Lux is in a similar boat. Although both have played it, I think it's had a bit more of a shine on Targon Titans. With the 5 times that Lux has been picked for that team, they've won every single time on it. And then lastly, for Spike specifically with that Pantheon, there's that contest for Aztec's Pantheon. It's not much of the jungle matched up in the mid lane, so I'm curious to see, will Zaun Plague want to take away the Pantheon through a pick, or will they want to ban it, or do they just let him have it?
Yep, it's definitely going to be curious. I think this Lux pick has seen a huge burst in popularity at the end of in the second round robin, and then going into the playoffs. We've seen it have a lot of impact in some of these pick bans. I do agree with you. The Syndra, especially as a highlight, is quite competent into some of these other melee champions that Spike plays. It's safe. You're able to farm and scale well. She's a late game menace for your AD carries. Who are you really watching out for here, Mr. Chugga?
I think champion-wise, I just remember the first playoff series with Targon. It was the Lux Ari, back and forth, and so Spike may or may not play Ari. He hasn't showed it in the LCC. Doesn't mean he doesn't know how to play it, but it's a champion that Minty feels really comfortable on. It gives him a lot of mobility to make plays and to follow Aztec around and to really impact the map some. Mm-hmm. So I expect to see Minty on that a lot unless it is taken away by Zaun, but it just depends on if Spike is actually afraid of the Ari and kind of maybe what kind of pick he has to go into that.
Yeah, mid lane's going to be one to watch. I think Spike's going to be coming out with quite a bit of aggression. I think Minty's going to go for a little bit more of a laid back approach and try to play with his team and coordinate there. And curious to see how the draft shakes out. As always, that will determine how these matchups break down. And with that, let's get into the bot lane. We've got the carry and support. Starting off with the carries, we've got Crispy, our Rookie of the Year for 2025, and our Sexy 2024 LCC second team, but in a different role. But this season, 2025 LCC first team in the carry position. Bassoon, give us the stats.
Yeah, I feel like of all the matchups, we've seen all these matchups be really close, and I think they're all going to be really exciting. I think this is the one that everyone wants to see for the exact reason that you just said. Crispy, Rookie of the Year, the new gun on the block, and then we've got our Sexy, someone who's got a little bit more experience under his belt and just earned MVP. I mean, just talking about our Sexy first, he has dominated the stat lines. He has the highest CS per minute of all the players in the regular season. Looking at Tyler's stats on the website, shout out to Tyler, really appreciate you, Psychotic Kittens. And then when we look at damage per minute, our Sexy is second place, only beaten out by our very own Simon Llewell. And so an absolute titan of the stats board, but also very much a team player. He's known as the person who does the drafts for his team, and so very much a pillar of that group, where Crispy has very much been this stylistic hands master, been able to put a lot of games on his back coming into the late game when he gets big on picks like that Zeri, picks like the Nyla as we move into the champ pool in a moment, and with those 4 first bloods. So Crispy, he's coming for the crown. He wants to take it from our MVP, and I'm really excited to see how they match into each other as we look at these champions.
Yep. Do you have any stats to call out here, Mr. Milk? We again have 4 first bloods on the Targon side as opposed to 0 for the Zaun Plague. I believe almost all of the first bloods for the Zaun Plague are concentrated on the other players. We have several for Orcas, or I think there's a couple for Orcas, and then early in the season, Whisper was the first blood king. So what do you think?
I just think, I mean, looking at these damage per minutes, right? I mean, 873 and 944. These are two AD carries that love to put out damage. I think these team fights late game, just seeing which one of them can really make the play. Can our sexy live up to the MVP name, or will Rookie of the Split get the best of them? You know?
Yeah, and we've got quite the champion pool to run down. There are 8 only for Crispy. We have 5 for our sexy and 4 shared picks. So a lot to get into. Our sexy only 13 games over the course of the season, and we have 9 different champions for him. Crispy with what is this? 12 different champions. So,
Yep.
What are the highlights here that we've got, Vasoon?
Yeah, an absolutely insane pool here. Looking at the regular season, both of these players showed off a lot of different pools leading up to the playoffs to kind of flex a little bit, where we had Crispy picking 9 different champions in the regular season and our sexy picking 7. And so it's tough to highlight all of these champions, but I want to call out a few things specifically. The big story when we were watching the Demacian Justice versus the Zaun Plague was that Smolder, and Smolder is back on this shared pool. Zaun Plague was able to defeat it against the Demacian Justice, but now Targon's faced with the same challenge. Smolder is an undefeated pick for both of these teams, and so I'm curious to see how that's going to play into the draft. I also want to look at picks like the Nyla and the Zeri for Crispy, where we saw in the last few series in the playoffs that those were pick ban, essentially, for Targon, where we saw a late pivot for Noxian Gladiators to ban both of those champions in the first round. Is something that Crispy picked up a little later in the season and started dominating with it. And so I'm fascinated to see how these are going to play out in the draft, because I think some of these picks are things that you just have to deal with of either banning them or picking them. But I'm curious which stands out to you, Chaga.
I think the separation of AP carries on our sexy side, right? So he has Seraphine, AP carry, more like support, I guess. But then Mel, right? He popped up on the Mel against DMJ. And so like that's something that sets him apart a little bit, while he does have a smaller champ pool, which I think he could probably play some of these champs, but maybe just, we just haven't seen him. Smolder, I know, earlier in the playoffs was like a big trade back and forth, like which team's going to get Smolder. I think even though he's been nerfed a little bit, I think he's really good. Obviously these games, or Zaun games, usually go a little later, so Smolder's going to hit that stack mark. So I'm interested to see if that gets through the draft anywhere.
Yep, I think Zaun Plague has been the only team to successfully answer Smolder. So I think if Targon is unable to find their own answer, it's going to have to be a forced ban whenever the Plague has first pick on that blue side, which they do have on the first round tonight. I am so excited to get into these pick bans, and I'm so glad we had Bassoon and Mr. Chugga to evaluate them with us. And with that, let's get into the our final role to evaluate. We've got the support face-off stats. We have Oreganon for the Targon Titans, and we have Mr. Jags himself, 2024 LCC second team overall support, and the 2025 LCC first team support. This stat line is stacked for him as well as Oreganon. There's a reason they made it to these finals. What are your thoughts, Mr. Bassoon?
Yeah, it's an intimidating line for Regan to match up into when we look at Jags first. He has those credentials under his name, that 2024 second team, 2025 first team. We've seen him, we see things like that vision per minute where he's a little bit ahead, but also when it comes to his vision denial, it's rather impressive as well. In the regular season, from that same list of statistics, Jags killed 110 wards. That is the most wards killed by any player in the LCC. He is controlling and dominant of the vision in these games. Now, Regan, in contrast, is still a very powerful player. We've seen him be flexible for his team and start to pick up champions like Taric, where he can have a bit more impact of the team, being in the face, drawing aggro. But he's also moved to picks that have very much tunneled and funneled Crispy. Things like the Yumi, to just let Crispy pop off, trust in that rookie of the year. And so I'm fascinated to see if the wide-spreading, over-controlling Jags with his vision dominance will win out, or will it be the supportive, the funneler, the foundation for his carry, Oregon?
Yep, and it's the support stat line. It's not the most important thing in the world, so I'm going to go ahead and jump us over to the shared champ pool so we can give Mr. Milk Chugga himself a little peek see, and so we can discuss. There's a lot of champions on this slide as well. Bot lane has an absolute amalgamation of different opportunities. Their draft is blown wide open after the playoffs started. We could see anything in the bot lane, including Yuumi, which I think would be what Crispy is favoring. If you try to get him on one of those hyper carries, give him a Yuumi, let him just flex his mechanics with all those extra stats. What are you expecting to see tonight, Mr. Chugga?
Honestly, there's just so many picks that are possible with these two supports. I think the Leona's probably going to come out from one of these two. Rel's been pretty popular. Nautilus, you can't go wrong with the hitbox on that hook.
Engagers
I honestly,
so far.
I don't know what they're gonna actually pick, because I think a lot of these supports are very viable right now, and so it's really just a plug and play for a lot of these comps.
Yep, I think the Tarek one to watch. A power pick that really has been working well for Oregon and Crispy. It provides a way for Crispy to be able to almost engage for himself in coordination with Oregon and just go for that dazzle as they dash through. And I'm picking up that so far it's all engaged champions on the predictions thus far. What do you think, Bassoon?
Yeah, it's, I talked a good bit about the shared champ pool for some of these players, but I want to highlight a lot of the ones that are specific to the players this time around. We've talked a lot already about the Tarek and the Yuumi, where these are very much champions that are paired with Crispy. Tarek to that Nyla, Yuumi to that Zeri. And so I think those two champions, I think, are going to have a lot of emphasis on them, but it's going to be more so on if Crispy gets the partner champion. We have seen the Tarek be played on champions besides the Nyla paired with it, but for the Yuumi, it's always been with that Zeri. So I'm curious to see if those pairings get through. Now on the side of Jags, we talked a bit at the start for the top lane where Poppy is that extra bit of contest, or we saw Jags pick it in their most recent series of the playoffs, and he had a phenomenal performance with it. So I'm really curious to see if he's going to bring that pick back in as a champion that can be flexed, can have that emphasis in the draft. You can pick it early, wait for where it's going to go. But then we've also seen flex even just with his own AD carry because of Seraphine. Because we have Sexy as this player who can pick a bunch of different champions and make them work in the bot lane. That lets picks like Seraphine become a flex with his own team as well. So I'm fascinated to see how these diverse champ pools impact the draft, but also just how the synergies with their team show up in the draft.
Yeah, any final thoughts, Mr. Chugga? I think it's been well put. This is definitely a lane to watch. I'm so excited for all of these matchups tonight. I think as in the early round robin, I was always watching out for the Sexy Jags level 1. They were very much willing to risk that. We saw Targon with big level 1 plays throughout the semifinals. The only team, I believe, to go for consistent level 1 plays throughout the playoffs. And it's going to be an action-packed one tonight, one way or the other.
Yeah, I'm excited. I cannot wait to get these games. Actually, draft. I'm excited for draft, first off, because that's...
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're excited for it, because we're about to get ready into it. I'm going to throw us over to cameras. And we're going to go ahead and... I'm going to get into the lobby. We should be close to our first draft. We've got Zaun Plague versus the Targon Titans.
Dude, I want to see some hype in the chat. I've been seeing y'all chat a bit for us, talking about some of these picks. But how excited are we for these series? How excited are we for the first draft, for Game 1 of the LCC Grand Finals? Let me see the love, people.
Yep, get in there. Tell us what's happening. I'm getting a little trash talk inside of the lobby. I'm going to go grab some fresh water for myself because I'm about to be talking for, hopefully like 5 hours if these teams give us the full package. But, so, I will leave you
grab
to
that water. Grab that water for sure.
Oh, it looks like they're ready for draft.
Yeah, they haven't started up just yet, so I'll keep an eye on the pick bans if they do, and I'll give you a play-by-play while he grabs water if they do. TQ Kid, I see you in the chat. I appreciate you bringing the hype. Also, this is your first time chatting for us here, so welcome to the LCC. I appreciate you coming. TJ, I see you as well. Always a welcome presence. Josh, love the upside down Yumi matching the Canva presentation. Fantastic stuff. So, Chugga, while we're getting ready for this first draft, and we have a little bit of extra time while we get this water and think about this, I almost want to. I'm curious to make some predictions. Do you have any predictions of what we're going to see just from the first 3 bans from either team?
I would say on the side of, I think, Targon banning into Zaun. I think they're going to ban. I think we're going to see the Volibear banned. I think we see the Smolder ban game 1. I'm iffy on if we see it game 1 or if they pick it game 1 and then it's banned later in the series.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably maybe the Alawi. I think that's just a champ you don't really want to play into. Everyone who's kind of picked it has looked pretty good on it. So I think that's bans for Targon. I'm not sure what Zaun's going to ban. Do you have any thoughts on what Zaun might ban into Targon?
You won't have to wait too long as we get into the draft. Zaun Plague, first ban Nyla.
Oh, and there's the Smolder ban.
They're so ready. It's game 1. These teams are prepped. They've had 2 weeks before since our last matchups in the semifinals. Nyla, Zeri, the first bans to come across for the Zaun Plague. Targon hovering over this Syndra. You mentioned the most pick banned champion in the history of the LCC, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And like Chugga said, Smolder banned out against the Plague. Now, on Zap banning out, the same thing that we saw Noxian Gladiators do in their last couple games into Targon. That Nyla, the Zeri, the Shen. We've seen Crispy go insane on the Nyla and the Zeri. We know that Choffle's is insane on Shen. Shen very powerful in League of Legends still right now. And now on the answer, we see Dr. Mundo banned out and instantly a first pick Seraphine by the Zaun Plague. We talked about how that's a flex pick for them, so we're not sure exactly where that's going to go. But both of these teams have prepared. They have made plans, and so this draft is going through quick. Any thoughts on the Seraphine first pick while we're waiting on the answer?
I like it. You could technically flex it, right? I don't think Spike would play it, but you could technically put it on Jags. I don't think it's in his pool, but I think he knows how to play it. Oh, Seraphine Nautilus. Okay.
Desire Rakan coming out in R1, R2 for Targon. So we've got this paired matchup together for them. I don't think Zaya was a standout performance for Crispy earlier on in the season. So I'm hope he's able to make it work with a Reginald tonight.
You're right about that, but the Rakan has been a comfort pick for a Reginald. He has picked it twice thus far and won both times. And I do think this fits their style. Zaya Rakan, always known for supporting each other. It's giving that Reginald that chance to push up Crispy into a good role. And we're seeing this third pick for Zaun Plague being that Vi. I believe we haven't seen Whisper on the Vi in the LCC so far. I want to check my stats very quickly. Oh, he has picked it once. It has been picked once by the Zaun Plague, and they did win that game. So interesting to see them pull it out here. And we are at the comfort pick for Aztec. The Skarner comes through, and it was picked 3 times by them in the season. They've won twice on it. They have dropped a game on it before, partially just because he's a little weak right now. But awesome to see that comfort pick for him. We're quickly going into these bans here. You did mention Chugga that Alawi is... Absolutely. And yeah, the Alawi getting banned out like you were predicting. That Alawi has been a terrifying pick for Orcas. Cho'Gath banned back as that shared strong pick. Aurelia banned. We saw Spike bring that out in the playoffs and go absolutely mental with it. It's only been picked once, but that left quite a heck of an impression, and they won that game. And something that could really shut down.
Aurelia is also a ban against Choffles. It is one of his favorite picks. It's one of his most experienced picks. But, Galio hovered, and this could be a flex between mid and top for Targon.
Absolutely, and it is locked in. Now, that Galio, I'm trying to see if they picked it only one time as Targon times, but they did win with it. And so it is something that they've shown before, so excited to see where that's going to go, mid or top. When I think about the styles of the players, I almost want to say it leans a touch more towards top. Minty is known a bit more for those mage styles. We talked about the Ahri, we talked about the Lux, and now we see Kai'Sa. And I believe that is what cements where some of these champions are going to go.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a Seraphine mid.
Yep, that does seem to be the shape of it. So this will be for Spike the Seraphine, and we're going to have a last pick top laner for the Zaun Plague for Orcas. And it looks like he's going to be going into at least one tank, potentially a Galio, and we have the hard scaling Nasus coming through to round out the draft.
Yeah, I love seeing this Nasus picks because I think this was one of the first times when I watched Orcas play a champion and I was intimidated. Just seeing the amount of pressure that he can pull the top lane on that Nasus. He's only picked it twice in the season. He's won both times. They've been pretty insane performances both times. I also want to talk quickly about that Kai'Sa. It was something that everyone knows Josh plays, our sexy plays, but it was only finally shown in the playoffs. And boy, was it shown. He went absolutely insane with it. I believe he had over 10 kills in that game. He did drop a couple deaths that might have been avoidable, but I think at that point he was kind of flexing a little bit, trying to show off a bit. So we'll pass him on those deaths, but absolutely dominant. And paired with that Nautilus, I think we're seeing them wanting to take the fight to the Xayah Rakan, and finally we see the Poppy for Choffles. And that Poppy has been insane for Choffles. You know, we saw it into Vandal City Buckaroos a few times where he brought some punishment to the Garen picks. You know, he's picked it 3 times in total, won 2 of those times. And so what are some of our initial thoughts as we finally see this completed draft?
Go ahead, Milk.
My first instinct is that I think Targon's gonna lack damage. You know, like Galio does some decent damage early, but it kind of falls off and he just becomes more of a tank unless this is like a full AP Galio. I'm surprised to see Minty play because I think he likes to have, you know, likes to play things that maybe give him a little more. I don't say Galio doesn't give you agency, but like less solo pick potential as the game goes on. Like he's not gonna be able to like one shot as much. And again, if there's full AP build is viable.
He typically looks more comfortable on mages, and so the Galio I would say is a surprising pick, but potentially a powerful flex option for Targon as we go through this series.
Correct, but it just feels like a lot of your damage is gonna it's gonna have to be Xayah or nothing, right? Like Xayah gets killed in this team fight by this Vi or gets picked by this Seraphine ult or something, and it's just it just feels like a lost team fight. But I don't know, Chaffle's Poppy last time was putting out some damage, so I'm excited to see him play it again. Because it looked so disgusting last time in the best way possible.
I'm not sure how the Poppy Nasus matchup goes, to be honest. I imagine it will definitely scale well into Nasus's favor. I think Poppy's going to be a tanky little Yordle, but Nasus, the big dog himself, he just throws that cane around, picking up stacks until he beats you. This Zaun Plague Death Ball comp is really going to play around Seraphine. We see them start the season with these Seraphine comps, really returning to it for Game 1 of this best of 5. And it's a triple tank answer for the Targon Titans. And Xayah, I think, really is the core of this comp, as you mentioned, for damage. There can be damage coming out from other sources. We're going to have to wait to see how they build, how these objectives shake out. But it could be just a win bot, win game angle for either of these teams.
Absolutely. And one thing I'm kind of noticing here, when we were talking about damage, we're talking about how the team fight's going to play out, with the exception of the Seraphine, which is a pretty big exception. I don't want to undercut it too much. A lot of the champions on Zaun Plague are very single target heavy. You have the Nautilus who wants to hook one person, ult them, and just give them a bad time. You have Vi who wants to punch in there, ult one person, give him a bad time. Nasus can target one person with that Wither. Or on the side of the Targon Titans, most of their champions have very wide range AoE, I want to be in the team fight, I want to do a big thing to everybody types of champions. So I'm curious to see if the Seraphine can give them enough of that presence to allow that Death Ball, or if those huge AoE CC abilities from Targon Titans are just going to make the team fights a little bit too easy, you know, too simple to mess up when it comes to the 5v5s.
Yeah. Milk, talk to me about this Vi pick, because something I'm always concerned about when I see these champions such as Vi, Warwick, Nocturne, these very level 6 ultimate focused junglers that want to make sure that they get kills with those early ultimates. I'm not seeing a lot of viable targets on the Targon lineup. Early in the game we've got Xayah, but then later on she's going to be able to dodge your cease and desist with her own ultimate, and that's going to be a difficult spot to be in as a Vi, so I'm really watching to see how Whisper manages to find their niche in this match.
I agree, but with this comp, like, you have Nautilus hook, you have Nautilus ulti, you have Seraphine root and ult. So like, if she's burning ulti for just the Vi, then like, there's a lot of things to kind of come over top with that to like follow up if she uses the ulti. Yeah, that's the target, right? Like, you're not gonna ult the Galio, you're not gonna ult the Poppy, unless you're looking at like a pick potential. Like the target's gonna be the Xayah. So I think the goal is let's do our best to get to and kill the Xayah, and then win the game. I know they locked it in pretty early in the draft, so I think Targon did a nice job of picking things that like aren't super afraid of the Vi ulti.
Yeah.
Like squishy targets, but I think picking it in response to the Rakan Xayah, because Rakan's pretty hard to get through sometimes just due to like his knockups and his movement. So you bypass all that and just press R.
Yep. I'm really looking for Vi to take a bruisier or tankier build this route. So I think if we see a full lethality damage Vi come out, he's really going to fall behind in the mid late game. What do you think, Basoon?
I agree.
I think so too, where we're seeing this kind of almost a timing on Targon, where you have picks like the Nasus is the big one, but even picks like Kai'Sa, where Arsexy is known to build that Kai'Sa in a way that he wants to get 3 to 4 items before he becomes this absolute menace on the map. And he has the farm to back it up. But if that Nasus becomes powerful enough, if he's starting to knock on your tier 2 towers and you don't have the power to match it, that's something that you need to be really concerned about. However, Targon does have a lot of the tools to match it, where you have things like the Galio to match roams, to be there for the team if you're trying to answer something like a split push, and you have these means to protect your important targets. You've already talked about it, where they have a lot of ways to get on targets like the Xayah, but they also have a lot of tools to protect that.
Right,
Targon
I
has
must
a lot
cut
of
you
tools to
off,
protect
Mr.
that.
Bassoon, as we are getting into the league match. And let's get us all into game 1 of our finals. Chugga, let's get into it. Thank you so much, Bassoon. We'll get back with you after the match, but it looks like we might have some level 1 action.
Oh, we got a 5v5 here.
No vision available for the play.
Oh, here we go!
Let's go. 5v5 action. Jags first to fall. First blood going over to Crispy. Spike 200 HP.
He flashes in. He's chasing the Seraphine. One more auto will do it. And the Seraphine will fall.
Zaun Plague are routed. 2 dead. Whisper under half HP. And 1 kill away from their first chunk of feats. It's an advantage over to Targon as we have the first blood of the finals. Incredible. I love to see it.
Split, starting out with 2 kills.
That's right. Oh my goodness. He did pick up both of them. On that reset, picking up a long sword and a dagger. Crispy could not be happier with the start of this match. Oh, Choffle's missing an assist, though.
Alright, so we did get flash off of every member of Targon, and 3 of the 5 members of Zaun. Notably, Arsexy still has both of his sums, and both sums from the top laner, Orcas. Everyone else is flashless.
Yep, and we're going to see our junglers start off on the bot side of the map. They will be both clearing upwards. Spike into Minty Bun. I don't expect we're going to see too much action in the mid lane, really just a bunch of trading back and forth, so going to spend a lot of time watching top and bot. And as we mentioned during the... as a nice trade comes in for Minty. Well done to get that level 2 early and push his advantage. We're going to be spending quite a bit of time watching this bot lane, as Jags is already looking for the level 2 hook. And trying to zone off Crispy, even though they started the game with 2 kills. Priority over to Zaun Plague after the waves settle. Pings down onto the top side of Zaun Plague as Choffle's gonna move. We've seen him do this several times. He's going for this early ward down to spot the jungler coming through, and they see that the buffs are down, so they know that it's almost certainly a bottom start for Whisper. It's gonna be some nice intel for his team. Quiet start after the raucous engagement at level 1. Both the teams happy to scale up a little bit. Really looking for
I think,
level 6.
Targon, that's the best start you could ask for, right? Two kills on your AD carry, your carry of one of your main carries of this team. I think Zaun definitely wants to slow down a little bit now. Look for plays if they're there, but don't force anything. A nice route from the Seraphine mid catches the Galio.
Yep, it's just going to be a lot of trading back and forth in the mid lane as they clear the creep waves.
And we have not seen Spike play this champ, correct?
No, I don't believe we've seen it actually flex into the mid lane. But it's Seraphine, honestly. A puppy dog could play it.
If you can't play Seraphine, there's no problem.
Whisper and Aztec getting into it at this top scuttle. Spike and Minty immediately rotating over. Shuffles as well to group for Targon. They've first to the play, but
he missed.
Taunt
he misses.
He's
low.
low.
He will go down.
And Zaun Plague clap back. Another engage from Truffles could find the feed. Spike, one hit left, and the Feats of Warfare go over to Targon. They say, we want more. Diving deep. Whisper unable to get the punch away. Truffles taking 2 tower shots now. Orcas wants more.
Shot.
Whisper can't really re-engage. And he will manage to slink away. Only one kill to both sides.
Regan will go in and knock up our sexy, but nothing comes of it. Just a little bit of a chunk.
Both
they heard us talking about falling the game down. They said, "Nuh-uh."
They heard us, man. Fighting to the death over that top scuttle will eventually be picked up by Aztec at the end. And look at all this vision we have in the top jungle as well. There's 5 wards down right now. Engage bot side, so our sexy's going to be dropped under half HP. Hook connects back onto a Regan, and Featherfall will snare Jags, but able to walk away relatively untouched. And ooh, we've got the dragon spawning now.
You have first dragon spawning. It's going to be a Hextech dragon.
Yeah, I'm getting this started off. What kind of dragon do you think it'll be this game? What map?
No telling, you know.
Yeah, no telling. You're right.
I'm hoping. I always love an Infernal Dragon, you know, personally. But I got a feeling it's Cloud because it's always Cloud, brother.
Cloud Dragon's always an exciting one for a competitive match. You get a lot of that move speed to run around. I think Poppy and these semi-globals love to have that extra bit of move speed. And Targon, we mentioned in the lane matchups, Aztec loves these objectives, and he is over here. At this dragon, he's got his bot lane rotating over, pings are down, and Zaun Plague on the same page, they know. So immediately a ward going near the wall will spot them out. Whisper and the bot lane are going to run over here. Just now starting up on this dragon.
Spike does not get spot. No health, no mana. He really can't afford to come to this fight. Chaffle's just roaming down mid lane. He might catch Spike here. Oh, he flashed Spike. Oh, flash from Seraphine.
Not quite enough range to reach into that wall to stun. But I love the pressure. It blows Spike's flash as well. And as you mentioned, he's just unable to rotate. And so Zaun Plague just give up this first dragon.
Now they're going to make
Targon
on the bot lane.
Aztec will run forward, unable to pick up our sexy under the wall. Barrier comes out. A hook down onto a Regan and will land, but not quite in tower range. Crispy putting out a lot of damage, pressuring our sexy out. They just got back to lane. After that dragon falls, they managed to push out both summoner spells from the Zaun Plague AD carry. So right now, Targon looking like they're in the driver's seat of this match. Let's check in on these nasty stacks. We're at 90 stacks at about 7 minutes into the match, so a decent pacing. It's pushing away. Chaffle's unable to put too much pressure on Orcas. We did just see him rotate. We've seen him rotate down twice now out of the top lane. We mentioned during the stats that he is a top laner who is more likely to rotate down to his team to help out. And now we're entering a little bit of a lull state.
R60 did get a BF sword on that back. So combat power, he's pretty close to Chaffles despite not Chaffles. He's pretty close to Crispy despite him getting those 2 early kills.
Yeah, that's right. Chaffles trading back nicely with his passive here on the Orcas. But Orca's still pushing in. He needs to collapse this creep wave so that he can get a reset and try to go purchase his Sheen. But Chaffle's just trying to stall it out outside his
Whisper
tower.
on a ward up there, so they do know he is topside.
Yeah, so Chaffle's not going to be looking for too much pressure. But if he can keep this creep wave right outside his tower, it's a dangerous situation for Orcas. Aztec coming onto the grubs now will be looking for a gank. It looks like Orca's going to back away, perhaps just look to reset and TP. And here Chaffle's just holding the creep wave, and they both know the situation. Void grubs spawning now. Orca's half resources on both of these.
I think they're going to go straight for grubs here. You already see Oregon moving up here. Oh, but our sexy's also on the move. I think we might see a big fight happen here.
Engage through the wall onto Orcas,
Chaffle's
but the Encore lands on it too.
Coming in with the great entrance.
Chaffle's dropped low, Aztec as well. Whisper fighting, surrounded by 3. It's a Justice Punch onto Spike, but he's got no more mana to fight. Orcas 1v3. He stands against the world. Minty Bun dropped down by our sexy. The passive proc will pick him up. And 2 get away very low HP on the back end. Orcas had no resources left to push them. And the grubs left standing.
The grubs go down. That was... but Crispy's getting free time. He's going to get 2 plates here.
Yep,
That's
Crispy.
just more
finally
gold in
wins
his
gold.
pocket.
Let's take a look at the gold totals. Mr. Chugga, what do you see?
Gold total.
Press X.
So yeah. Honestly, Crispy's only up about 300, which is, pretty good. It's, not terrible. It's boots.
He's up 2
Top
kills,
lane,
though.
300.
Or up 1 kill.
Yeah, he's up 1 kill. R60 did get a kill on that rotate. Jungles are pretty even. Mid lane is about a 400 gap for Galio, who did pick up a kill there. But again, Seraphine's going to be useful no matter what. Gold lead, nothing to worry about yet. It's about 1,000 gold lead total. Nothing crazy yet, but again, Targon is exactly where they want to be. I think a lot of people necessarily might not have expected it to be this close early, but they are showing up today, and they're on those grubs, and it's going to be a grubs over.
Yep.
They
All
got
of Targon
one. Whisper
rotating.
is on the way in. They know what is happening now.
Yeah, Targon were spotted clearing out the vision, but we've got a hook now to engage. Both supports starting off the fight. Stuns on back ends.
Whisper's going to go down.
Whisper dropped low. Troffles will pick up, or Aztec will pick up the finish, and we have an impale onto 2. Our Sexy with the killer instinct out. Shield just saving him. Troffles trying to escape.
Oh,
Drop
Arcus does take
low.
that damage. He would die for it.
And Targon Titans come away with the victory. We have both the mid laners teleporting up to the fight, so all 5 members of both teams arriving to the match. And we have another hook down onto a Regan, and he's dropped low. Spike picking up the kill. 3 for Zaun Plague into the 3 for Targon Titans. It's an even battle, but our Sexy's down his ultimate. He's down his summoner spells, and he will fall as a teleport rejoins the fight. Feather Call over Jags will pick up another kill. Targon under the tower now. Choffle's taking so much damage, and he goes for the knockup and manages to escape that last tower. 4 teleports invested in this team fight, and the grub still stands strong. 1 Kevin has fallen. Spike just... Oh. Spike just barely escaping. Under 10 HP, single-digit health escaping from the Feather Call from Crispy. And a Wither could bring him into danger. But Targon stand strong at the end of this play.
Yeah, that gold lead doubled to about 2k gold lead, so really nice fight for Targon.
Yep, huge out of them. Coming out strong in game 1. Not over by any means. We still have about 2,000 gold lead advantage over to Targon, and the tempo is in their hands right now.
One objective away from feats. They got Dragon, they got Grubs, they just need next Dragon here, which is up. It is an Infernal Dragon.
Yep, and all 3 grubs going over to them, so they get that objective point as well. Dragon up on the map. Aztec cannot resist a dragon. We're definitely going to see them path over there after this reset, and we'll be watching to see if Zaun Plague does the same. It's kind of convenient. We have both top laners and mid laners with exactly synced teleports, so no TP advantage going to be available for any team.
Alright, let's take a look at these items. If I can, yeah. Alright, so we do have item completed for both 80 carries, but Crispy with boots and an extra crit glove. Oh, they're going in on Galio here. Oh, Seraphine misses the root.
Yep, and then they managed to back away. Nice zoning from... nice spacing to get out of that taunt as we take a second to look back at the top side.
He has the taunt, but I think he's holding it a little too long, giving them a chance to get out. Alright, Nasus, he's getting stacked up because that Q is starting to hurt Poppy a little bit.
Yeah, vision largely cleared out for both teams, but we have a 4v4 brewing. Zaun Plague approaching from the bot side, but the dragon is already down. They have a hook down onto the Skarner. Hero's entrance connects onto Jags, but not much else. We have a nice dive deep with the Justice Punch, and the taunt misses.
Oh,
Regan low. Impale onto 2. It could land onto everybody. Where's the encore? Spikes dropped so low in this fight. Aztec managing to frontline, keeping Crispy alive, and that's the core of this team fight. And they're diving deep. Crispy flashing over the wall, finds another one.
R60 has the void, the killer instinct, but he's just not. He knows that the members of Targon are around. That's another good fight. Oh, Minty Bun is disconnected. We're on a pause.
They won the fight, but Minty range quits anyway. We need to work on that mental for the rest of the series. We're sitting at 5-11 in game 1. Targon Titans versus the Zaun Plague. Targon have looked good so far in this series. We haven't had too much to see thus yet. Only 14 minutes before our first pause. And, ooh, we're back into it. Okay, great.
Crazy beginning of the game. Targon really coming out swinging, you know, forcing Zaun to play this really scrappy kind of game. And they are showing them up right now.
Yep, Otacon will be spawning on the top side as we have our post-pause like hiccup from the spectator. Thank you, Mr. Riot Games. Trindamir himself reaching out and pausing our replay. Crispy is 6-0 right now, Joe.
Rookie of the split.
That's right. Ooh, we're only 14 minutes in, man. And it's already a banger so far. I'm going to point out it's 800 gold lead roughly in the jungle, so Aztec making himself known. He's up in CS, and he's managed to find a 209 scoreline. These team fights have been bloody, but Targon have been consistently coming away with the wins when they have their team behind them. I think Spike needs to look for these encores to try to set up for his team to really hold the line. I mentioned before that I wanted to see Whisper going for a tankier bruiser build on this fight. He started out with the Sundered Sky. I like this pickup. He's going to be going for a Tabbies to follow it up. Really, Crispy is their main threat, so he needs to be able to stand in the front with Jags, with Orcas, and provide time for Arsexy to burn people down. Arsexy's only got his first item. He hasn't managed to build that advantage that we saw last time he was on Kaisa. So it's going to be a bit of a scaling match for the Titans as we get into this Herald. Or for the Plague as we start the Herald up.
Yeah, and I think Targon's doing a really nice job of accelerating this game, right? Every time an objective spawns, they're there. They're ready to fight.
As Poppy sends
Galio,
one
yeah,
away.
Galio's in. I think that, yeah, Zaun should just give it. They're behind right now. Like, you obviously don't want to give up too much, but you're not in a spot to fight them. You're not strong enough at the moment.
Something to watch out for is we have Choffles on the Poppy. One of his favorite things to do on Poppy is just ult the jungler away during an objective, and really completely secured that Herald take for the Titans. Choffles feeling very comfortable on that Poppy. He waited until the playoffs to pull out that pick, but has been making it shine for himself. As the Herald's drop down immediately, we're not going to hold on to for very long. Aztec deciding we're going to push down mid lane. He's got his bot laners here. Spike standing alone, but has Jags on the way to assist him. But we're going to run this down to the mid tower and try to control the center of the map. We've got a deep dive potentially as Crispy goes in. They take down the tower. It's a nice engage. Encore onto 3. Hook follows up. There's no tower to deal damage, and there's not really much damage from Zaun Plague to speak of over here. They're really just using Spike's abilities. It's got a lot of AoE, but not a lot of chunk.
Yeah, again, it's going to take some time for the Seraphine to really come online. You have one item. How many stacks are we on this Nasus? This Nasus has been up there farming, hitting the tower.
285 stacks on the Nasus, so pretty good pacing on that. And I think it's just like you mentioned, it's a scaling matchup for them, but that's really why we like the Targon's approach of just pushing this game. They said we're in the driver's seat, we don't want to wait around. Every time an objective's up, they're there, ready to take it over.
Next objective spawning, I think, will be this Dragon and Otacon spawning in the top side.
Yep, you can press N to see the timers. We got 50 seconds on the Dragon.
Beautiful.
And finding ourselves a bit of a lull. Got to take advantage of those in this best of 5 to preserve our voices. But the side lanes are, I think, largely going to stabilize. I don't think Seraphine's really the only side laner that has much threat against them, but is going to continue scaling up. We see the first items coming through for everybody at this point. Locket's coming out for both supports, and we know it's going to be a brutal team fight battle really across the way. Jags running into Crispy or Reganin. Both teams setting up now for the bot side Dragon. This will be the third Dragon, bringing Targon to Soul Point. And they're getting here early to try to fight for it. Teleport not available for Minty Bun. Teleport is available for Orcas, so we could see a 4v5 potentially, which would favor Zaun Plague this time around. Hook out, but not connecting.
And this next Dragon's up, and you know, Zaun's going to want to try to fight for it. I really don't think that they're in a good spot to fight for it. I think they maybe look for the steal.
Dragon down to 3,000 HP now. As Zaun Plague engaged, we've got a knockback over onto the...
Crispy gets the Dragon as he gets ulted by the Nautilus, and Vi is stunned to death.
Yep, it's a
And
brutal
Nasus
fight.
is in
We
here.
have
Nasus
teleport
is running
down.
out of Crispy. Crispy has popped ulti, and Nasus can see it, and he's also going to fall. The hero's entrance comes in. Oh my god, Zaun's going to get wiped. There goes Seraphine. Jag is the only one still alive. He's running for his life.
And it's a complete
Poppy knocks
rout.
him out of the knockup, but he will go down, and Crispy will get the ace.
Zaun Plague are here with 5 first. They have Orca's teleport down. But Minty Bun, with just his own feet, walks over and uses his hero's entrance to close the gap. Targon come away with a clean ace and the Dragon Soul Point. And now they're going to look to push out and reset. The game is completely in Targon Titan's hands right now. They have the tempo, they have the gold, they need to close out. $5 to 16, 28 to 34K. Targon, we mentioned that all the damage profile for this Targon team comp is it positioned around Xayah. Starting the game with 2 kills and now sitting at a scoreline of 10-0-4, 2 items completed, is phenomenal for them. They could not be happier with how this match has gone so far. Setting up now, we have next objective for Dragon is still 5 minutes, sorry, 3.5 minutes away, as Otacon spawning in the top side, 20 minutes in. And really, Zaun Plague are trying to stall this one out, but Targon are so consistent on these objective timers, and they're really pressuring Zaun Plague to come answer them. But the team fights just aren't going their way.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know, like you just, I don't know, in my opinion, I don't think you have to like fall for these fights. I think Whisper could have went for the steal last time on the Dragon. That's fine. He can make the heroic sacrifice and go for it. But taking the 5v5 or the 4v4, whatever it started out as, just doesn't seem smart. You're behind. You need time. You want to scale. You want this Nasus to continue getting strong. And he's pretty strong already. That time he did try to walk through 4 people in that last team fight to get to the Xayah, so that obviously it wasn't going to work.
Yep. And at that Dragon, Choffles again knocking somebody away with that Poppy ultimate. Just taking the hammer and saying, alright, see ya, we're going to manufacture a numbers advantage. So even though Zaun Plague were able to teleport first, it really just delays their ability to take that team fight. And because the Plague have been second to these objectives, Aztec's been able to find the Smite Secure quite consistently, as we have a hero's entrance at follow up the charge on Arsexy, flash forced out. It looks like Zaun Plague are going to be able to back away from this play. We've got, oh no, we've got pings. Let's zoom out as Targon look to collapse S5. Arsexy using the Killer Instinct to dodge past everybody. What an escape. Targon still looking for Spike. Oh, and Jags was sniffing it out. Crispy could have walked himself a little too deep there. Hook down on Choffles' tower, hitting him. Encore lands down onto 3, finishing Choffles off. They're grouped as 4. Impale under the tower. Targon are dying.
Oh, Whisper gets deleted!
Crispy still stands.
He's one shot, and he kills another one!
1 feather, 2 feather. He kills them all. Arsexy, the last man standing. No, Orcas from the behind. Minty drops. Arsexy picking up some of these kills. Oregon onto the run, but he's got the Wither ready. He's dropped to half HP. Will Crispy come back to save him? It's Xayah Rakan, but Rakan is gone. And Targon fumble a bit there, overdiving this tower.
Yeah, that's a lot of that CC lining up there. The Nautilus ulti catching multiple, the Seraphine ult hitting 4 members right there, and then diving a little too deep, right? Really nice Featherstorm from Crispy. He essentially deleted Whisper after getting cease and desisted, and then used it to kill Seraphine as well. Minty going a little far, diving under tower onto Arsexy. But Crispy saves his shutdown, so it's still a 700 gold shutdown sitting on him.
It's a great impale, but it's under tower, and Targon just takes those tower charges are insane nowadays, and I think that just really makes the difference in damage that Targon has been winning by this whole time, and just hands it over to the Zaun Plague, and a phenomenal turnaround right there to bait them under the tower and then find that recovery after the Killer Instinct to escape, where they almost collapsed down onto 2. and they've now managed to pick up 2 objective bounties. First one bot side when Sexy collected the tower during the Otacon take, and now 1 in the top side as Orcas resets to come to this Dragon Soul point. Targon in position, they're clearing out the vision. NASA stack call out, 453 NASA stacks, 23.5 minutes into this match, as Targon start up this Dragon Soul.
Soul is up, and they're going to have to give it.
Yeah, you mentioned maybe they should have given some of the early ones, but they're definitely going to give this one. Complete vision control by Targon beforehand. Love the preparation to, you got to prepare for success. Zaun Plague just trying to get any gold that they can, trying to scale up. We've got 2.5 items on the Nasus. He's scaling well into the late game. And essential pickups for that extra gold on Sexy in that last play, and really trying to find that second item for Spike. Take a look at, check in on these gold numbers. We've got an advantage on the top side for Zaun Plague.
45. And if I'm Targon, I'm going straight to Baron and forcing them to come to you. While you did, semi lose that last fight, that was mostly due to tower damage and like just a combination of really good things lining up for Zaun. I think you're still significantly stronger, right? We're at about a 3k gold lead. And Crispy, if you guys frontline for Crispy, he should be able to delete every member of Zaun. But this Nasus,
yeah, still a lot of gold on the map for Zaun Plague to collect. It's only a 3,000 gold difference, of course, not including the effective gold from the Soul.
Nasus at 480 stacks.
Whisper almost walking into a trap, but sniffs it out. Zaun Plague do not have much vision, but they do have the scuttle taken previously in the top side. Spike getting sniffed, but not going to be picked off. Targon rotating over. They want Whisper. Just really trying to control this Baron area.
And now their vision from this river is now gone. Alright, they did just spot him out with the plant, so plant helps. And yeah, they're going to keep holding here, trying to find a...
Yep, we haven't engaged.
Oh,
Minty Bun finds 2 over here. The team fight is split. Zaun Plague only have 2 in the area. It's an exhaust down onto Orcas. He's dropped low, half HP. Targon are standing together. We have a knockback. It's going to get rid of Spike, but he could rejoin the fight. Choffles dropped very low. Hero's entrance.
Oh, the Hero's entrance is wasted. That's a big cooldown out for Targon. Really nice job from the Nasus ult is also down. Poppy's sitting at about a quarter health, but it's Poppy. The shields will come through.
Yep, needs to find a plan. We got to hook forward.
Gone.
Orcas drop very low, and he pops. Jags
is
will be the target now.
He's too late to the fight, though. And Sexy getting engaged on.
We have a kill down. Zap, impale down on a 2, and Targon, they're trying to clean up the fight. Choffles still lives.
Crispy goes down.
Whisper the flash over the wall. But he should be chased down by Aztec. Burns. Jags on the run now, but falls as Minty. 3 of live for Targon Titans on the back end of the fight. We mentioned Choffles was low at the start, but I think he's got more HP than he started with.
I think he does.
Yep, Crispy putting out so much damage. Orcas is obliterated, and they're taking down this first tower. They're breaking open the base. We don't need to take the Baron. We'll fight you for it again and again. We just need these towers. And Ping's down now, so Targon potentially looking to just immediately rotate over to this Baron. But I think they may need to look for a reset as Choffles is under half health.
Choffles does have teleport.
But
Crispy's back up. They're not gonna. They don't want. They can't really take this Baron until Crispy is there, right? That's their damage. That's who's gonna burn the Baron. But Crispy's on his way. All members of Zaun are back up, and they're running back to the jungle. We might see another 5v5 here.
Yep.
The Featherstorm is down. No sums on Crispy at all.
And Zaun Plague again split.
On. Oh, he walks in and gets killed.
Whisper the target now as all 5 members of the Targon Titans move over to him. He's managed to get away. Reganin with a dump forward, but unable to connect on anything. Choffle's taking damage from the tower, but Orcas cannot get to this carry. Targon pick up another kill with their vision control. They got back here first. They didn't go for a full team reset, only bringing Choffles back and then teleporting him to the fight. They've got Jags on a 10-second reset timer.
And they're going on the Baron.
And we're on to the Baron. These
And
W's
it
are
is
going to be
going
landing
down
in for our
Airfiend
sexy.
does have ulti.
No vision right now onto the objective. 4,000 HP on the Baron, 2,000, and it's gone. Secured by Choffles. Encore onto everybody. Choffles dropped low. Crispy with the Featherstorm, and he falls down onto the ground. Orcas to die. Whisper trying to get into the back line. He goes for the cease and desist onto Crispy. He's so low, but he's not dead. Our Sexy, 1,000 gold shutdown. Spike, Jax is back here after his reset. The Baron fight is continuing. It's Aztec caught away. It's a 1v3 for him. Sexy has the passive stacking up. It's a stun into the wall. He's dropped low, but Sexy lives. He picks up so much gold in this fight, and the Baron goes over to the Targon Titans, but only 2 stand to keep it.
You're gonna find this hard to believe. Sexy is now ahead of Crispy in gold.
Whoo, doggy.
Oh, but in-hip tower, Nexus tower goes down. They only have one
They
left.
respawn now. It's fine.
Ah, that's right. Riot ruined the game.
Riot ruining the game all around. And it's a banger for game 1. We're still within 3,500 gold of each other. Dragon's Soul over to Targon Titans. It's 14-27. We've seen some
and this Elder Dragon is up in 7 seconds, and that's going to be the next fight. We're going to see another fight.
Yep, Minty Bun already
should
here.
be respawning soonish.
Yep,
I don't think I have a timer for that.
There's some blue trinkets on the ground for the Zaun Plague, but not really much to speak of as Targon are again here first the objective. But Aztec, their jungler, has not arrived yet. Flash is not available, but Impale should be up by the time this fight starts. And right now, Zaun Plague are the ones with the grouping, and Targon are for once on the back foot coming up to this objective.
We do have teleport on Galio. Could teleport into the base if this wave makes it to the Nexus tower.
That's a good call.
But Orcas has backed, so they do not. He does have teleport. They do not have him for this initial fight. Targon's going to start it right up as they should. You know, Orcas is pretty strong right now.
With no vision.
They don't have him here.
As this dragon drops to half HP, still no teleport in from Nasus. They finally have vision, 4,000 HP on the dragon. Teleport coming through. Aztec is on it, and it's secured. And now Zaun are on the run as they try to escape away from this Elder Dragon. Targon stay together as 5. We're going to push down mid. There's no inhib. 1 tower to defend as Choffles tries to interrupt these resets.
He wrote this game.
Choffles interrupting 1 reset as Targon dive deep. Spike gonna fall as Encore lands over the top onto 1. Elder Dragon should finish him off here. And down he goes as our Sexy, Whisper, and Orcas look to defend together. Choffles is on the run over here to end the game. Jags now here, 4v4, soon to be 4v5. Taunt lands down onto Nasus. Orcas dropped low, but the damage is coming down onto the Nexus. Targon want game 1. Hero's entrance over the top. Our Sexy dropping as much damage as he can, but it's not enough. Orcas is here. He's got the stacks. 531, but it's first game to the Titans.
Targon said we'll beat him once and we'll beat him again.
That's right. Zaun Plague falls in first game of the finals. Whew. Everybody take a breath. It's over. We have game 1 in the books. We're going to go to a short break so Chugga and myself can get some water, take a second, and we'll be back with you momentarily.